What's going on, y'all? It's the kid J Nolan here. Now, I'm not going to actually show up on the video today, but I want to walk y'all through this whole In Focus by Spotify thing. I've been very critical of Spotify in the past, and I'm quite sure I'm going to continue to be critical of Spotify in the future, but let's just go over this whole thing. I feel like a lot of times what Spotify ends up doing, they're like a leader in doing the bare minimum, but their branding is so good that everything looks grandiose and major. So the first thing that you're going to see here is find your focus, right? So whether you're looking to level up or get back to the basics, it all starts with focus. Choose a focus area from craft to career, and we'll give you the tools, resources, recommendations. It's very vague, not really telling you a lot of what to expect here, but once you click this explore button on the page, it starts giving you a little bit more direction, right? So the first thing they want to start with is songwriting, which I don't disagree with because that's the beginning of the whole process for everybody. When inspiration strikes, it's important to have your toolkit ready, from song structure and hooks to organizing your thoughts and making the most of a collab. This is where you can discover how to turn good ideas into great ones, right? So on this page, you see that they're promoting this thing called Soundtrap Capture, which is an app that you can use to actually record music, collaborate with people, and they also have their own library of sounds that you can sample. I think they have like drum breaks and kits and stuff like that. So this is their way of like trying to compete with Splice, Output Arcade, and all of these different other platforms out there that are feeding creators with content to remix and disassemble and do whatever you want with. So then they also have this thing called Song Start, which is basically where you can learn how some of the best songwriters in the business approach every part of the creative process. So they've been doing some interviews or different content with different creators out there, basically getting some input on how they create, and maybe hoping that maybe it'll inspire others or whatever. You know what I mean? Once again, kind of minimal, but they make it look really nice. The next section is about honing in on your music making craft. And it says, this is your art, so let's make it magic. Brush up on your performance, get your home studio gear in order, or improve your production and technical skills. We've got the tips and resources to help. And on this page, you'll notice that they have this thing called Notable, where you can request and book free studio time at one of their 5 notable studios, all right? Now, when it comes to the notable studios, they have 5 locations all over the world where artists are supposed to be able to access it and, like it says, get free studio time to create. So these studios are located they have one in London, they have one in Nashville, they have another in Toronto, they've got one more in Los Angeles, and one that's coming soon to Atlanta. So stay tuned. I'm going to actually try to see if I can get booking in Atlanta once they get this place up and running. So keep an eye out on that for these notable studios. But if you're anywhere near any of these other locations, I would say go ahead and try it out, man. You can go to notable.spotify.com/studios to try to book a session. And then they go back into Song Start with these information from some of these different artists and stuff. And you're going to see a lot of recycled content or recycled services throughout this process, which is kind of why I'm always so critical of Spotify. But moving right along. The next piece here says expand your artistic vision. Music is an artistic expression, but it doesn't have to end there. See how you can develop a world of design, videography, photography, and audio storytelling around your tracks, right? So with this, they're promoting the use of Canvas. Now, for those of y'all that haven't been using Canvas, it's basically their way of allowing you to put some type of visual to your music other than just the cover art. So you could literally go outside and record something on your phone. It has to be in a vertical orientation anyway. You could take pieces of music videos or some of your social media content if it's really appealing, and you can use it for your Canvas. It'll play and loop during people listening to your song. You should know about that by now. It's been around for a while. But they're also promoting add more context to your creations and bring your music to life in a new way with Music and Talk. And Music and Talk, or Music Plus Talk, is basically a way for you to create almost like a podcast, breaking down your music, breaking down your creative process, allowing your fans to know what goes into the actual creation of your music. And it'll also allow you to import tracks from your catalog or from the album that you're describing, so people can listen to it while also listening to what you're saying about it, right? So you can talk about it almost like an intro and then go into a song, and then vice versa, keep weaving in and out of that. So it's kind of like their way of having like a podcast style for artists to kind of describe their process. And they say that when you do this music plus talk thing, anytime that somebody listens to it and they actually stream the music, you get the same royalties and everything as if somebody was deliberately going and seeking your music. So this is a way to kind of drive up your streams also. You know, if you got people tuned in enough to listen to you talk and tell your story, you can get more streams when they listen to the music. The next section we have here is for promotion. Reach your current fans. Got a new release coming up, want to promote your catalog tracks, have a story to tell, figure out the best way to deliver the goods to your people, and master the marketing tools that will help you keep them listening. So they're going to show you Marquee, which I think is, you know, not beneficial to the average independent artist out here. Marquee can help you reach your current listeners and turn them into diehard fans. But in order to actually get a Marquee campaign, it's very expensive, man. So I don't see anybody out here going and investing no major money into this and not really knowing how it's gonna work. You shouldn't have to purchase a campaign to reach your quote unquote diehard fans anyway, because people go out here and subscribe and do pre-saves, and Spotify's not even delivering that stuff to people. You have to make sure that you're submitting to their editorial playlist before your stuff drops, so that they can even put you on release radar and make sure that the people that are subscribed or that follow you hear your music the day that it drops, or that it's at least placed in front of them, right? And then they're also talking about these promo cards. Create personalized assets to share with your fans on social media, right? So they want you to create Spotify branded promo cards where you could put, you know, artist name, new single. You can put like new accomplishments and things of that nature on these promo cards and put them on social media. But at the end of the day, it really benefits Spotify more than anybody else. Then it goes into reaching new audiences, right? So if you're following along here, if you've ever been in the Spotify for Artists app, or if you've been on the Spotify for Artists website, a lot of this stuff is going to look familiar. They have all of this in the portal for Spotify for Artists. I'm not sure what they thought this in focus thing was differentiating from Spotify for Artists app or website, but Spotify is really good, like I said, at putting these visuals together. Like their marketing, their visual marketing is very good. So it makes it seem like they're doing all of these new things, but it's really just rebranding everything that they've already been doing, which isn't all that much. I'm not going to say they're not doing anything. They're making strides, but a lot of stuff is just not as helpful as it would seem when you look at it on the surface. But let's get back to reaching new audiences, right? So it says there's millions of people who haven't heard your music yet. Discover the best tools and tactics to reach new listeners around the world and turn them into fans. It's time to become someone's new favorite artist. So then they show you fan study, which is definitely in the Spotify for Artists app. Explore insights and recommended actions to help you develop a more global fan base. Then they've got this other piece here. Got a new release coming up. Playlist pitching can help you get heard by fans around the world. That's what I was just telling y'all about, pitching to their playlists and stuff like that. But the reason why it's so important to pitch to the playlist is because if you don't pitch it at all, nobody's really going to hear your music on the day of. Not even your fans that are already invested into you on the Spotify app. You have to pitch the music ahead of time, at least 7 days before, or else nobody's going to hear it at all. This page here is about promoting your skills, and it says, no shame in hustling to get yourself out there. See how you can form valuable industry relationships, find ways to work with like-minded artists, and create more opportunities to let your songwriting and production talent shine. So on this one, it goes back to this notable thing, discover resources curated specifically for songwriters, producers, and publishers on Notable, right? And then you've got this thing here that says, learn about songwriter pages and how fans and potential collaborators can discover you on Spotify. Now, Spotify does have this thing where they can create this songwriter page for those of y'all that write songs for yourselves and others, and maybe you have some publishing deals or you write for certain publishers out there. The only thing about it is if you're a self-published artist and you're not affiliated with any type of publisher other than yourself, they're not going to allow you to get those songwriter pages. Now, I did go through the process, being that I have worked with numerous publishers in my history. So I'll update y'all at a later time to actually see how those songwriter pages come out, you know, from firsthand experience rather than just showing y'all examples. I do want to give y'all real time, real life footage. So now we get to a connection with fans and building your brand, right? Being an artist is about more than notes, rhymes, and hooks. Discover all the ways you can tell the whole story and develop your artistic identity through creative direction, visual expression, storytelling, and more, right? So they're talking about your image, fashion, and all of that type of stuff, right? So they're going back and cycling back to Canvas, which is your presentation. But then they've got this video here with stylist Jasmine Benjamin exploring the impact of wardrobe and fashion on your brand, basically getting your look and trying to tailor it in a certain way that's visually pleasing to your fans or to potential fans, and understanding that your look doesn't necessarily have to be dressed up or anything of that nature, but just making sure that your image matches up with your music in some type of way, But as with all things in music, one thing that makes sense for one person may not make sense for the next. There's some artists out there that look nothing like the music that they put out, and they're still wildly successful. So take all of these types of things with a grain of salt. They're trying to tell you how to do something, or at least plant the seed in some visual aesthetic that you can be tapping into. So I don't think this is bad, but again, this is like bare minimum stuff. If you've been anywhere researching music over the past couple years, music marketing, music branding, how to expand yourself, I'm sure you've heard the word superfan a million times, right? So you got here, grow your superfans, share the love with your most passionate fans, and establish meaningful relationships with your new ones. Make your connections more personal and discover the ways you can transform your listeners into diehards. So then they show you this Spotify Live thing here, which is a new feature. Spotify Live is basically their version of Clubhouse, where you can build relationships and chat directly with fans in real time with Spotify Live. It's a little different from the music and talk thing because that's more podcasty, but this is actually like going live, like I said, on Clubhouse or Twitter Spaces or whatever. It's their version of the same thing, but you get to listen to it live in the Spotify app, if I'm not mistaken. So then they have singer-songwriter Amy McDonald talking about how she used music and talk to give superfans the inside scoop on her new album. We already talked about that, so there's no reason to go further. They have a couple other pages on here. I'm going to skip those because they're basically reiterating stuff that I've already talked about. So the next piece that I'm going to talk about is the merch. Fandom goes far beyond the music. Fans love to show their dedication with merch, and that support is key to your livelihood as an artist. Learn how to get your swag in front of your fans and keep them coming back for more. So now, for those of y'all that may not have already known, you can connect a Shopify store to Spotify for artists to help supercharge your virtual merch table. Once you've linked your Shopify store, you're able to show 3 items on your Spotify profile page, and you can refresh or move those around or shift them in and out and change them as many times as you like, right? You can change them at any time, but you're only able to show 3 at a time. For the performing artists out there, they got a sell more tickets page. Whether you're performing live and in person or live streaming a concert online, boosting your attendance is key. Find out how to get more eyes on you no matter the venue, all right? So now they're saying hype your concerts and festivals by making sure they're listed on Spotify. One way that you can make sure that your shows are always listed on Spotify is by registering your upcoming performance on songkick.com, all right? It's very easy, very simple. It'll update to Spotify. If you have a Bandcamp page, it'll also go on there. If you've got a SoundCloud page, it will also update on SoundCloud. So if you haven't already signed up on Songkick, make sure that you have. It's very easy, very simple, and it's been around for a long time. And then they're also talking about using the artist pick to highlight your biggest upcoming show on your artist profile. Now, a lot of us end up using artist pick to showcase our latest single or our most popular song or an album that we're pushing, but you can also put your shows in the artist pick space as well if you have a show coming up and it's really important to you to actually sell those tickets. Soon to be winding down to the end here. Now we're in the earn revenue as an artist. I skipped their whole streaming royalty page because it's Spotify. They pay very little streaming royalties. There's no reason that they should be trying to educate you on that when they're not upping the rate. That's what we need. That's the education we need, is up the rate on the streaming royalty, and then we could talk about it. But this page here is create new revenue streams, okay? So rapid changes in media, live performances, and technology are creating more and more opportunities to monetize. Discover how you can diversify your revenue streams as an artist like never before. So then they're going to show you here, understand the ins and outs of PROs, publishing, royalties, splits, shares, and more. Now, if you've been tuned into this channel, if you've read my book, The Pen Game Portfolio, Volume 1 or Volume 2, or you listened to it, however you got it, then you already know about PROs, publishing, royalties, split shares, and all of that type of stuff. Very simple, very basic. That's music business basics, right? So then they've got music agent Marissa Smith sharing how innovations in virtual live can create new revenue opportunities. And you could click on that and listen to a podcast where she breaks that down. Now, for the PRO and all of that stuff, if you're not familiar, you can also listen to a podcast where they break that down with Samantha Cox and Sam Sklar. But if you watch this channel and if you learned anything from me, or if you're interested in learning anything from me, you can get that information from me very easily. I've got it all over this channel. So they're not doing anything special. I don't see why they don't hire people like myself to come in and give them a little bit more of a robust push for this. But, you know, it is what it is, man. Like I said, they do the bare minimum. And the final page that I'm going to go over on here is going to be tour smarter, all right? Before you hit the road, you need to have a tight strategy and a clear plan to set yourself up for success. Discover how to make your next tour the best one yet. So then they've got this piece here, learn all the way Spotify data and analytics can be used to make the most of your next tour. So it's going to, of course, like I said, if you've ever been inside Spotify for artists, you know where your audience is, you know who's listening to a degree, you know where they're located at the bare minimum, you know how many people are listening. You can pretty much refresh the app every day and get a live update on, you know, the numbers. However, I don't understand why they're not creating a way for artists to actually communicate with their fans within the Spotify app, or at least within the Spotify for artists, or create a Spotify for fans or something. Create some type of way for people to actually communicate with each other, right? So if you're a small artist and you got 1,000 people that follow your page, but you can't speak to them, how can you actually get the message to them that your tour is coming? You know what I mean? You could put it on your profile and put it in your highlight, but who's just sitting on your artist page all day waiting for an update? You know what I mean? So the communication element is where a lot of the streaming platforms are failing. Now Tidal is working on some things like this, so keep an eye on that. I've spoke about it before, but just keep an eye out. And last but not least, they've got NEVA president Dana Frank can prepare for the new realities of touring from the venue perspective. And she's got a podcast that you can listen to learn how to route your touring and all of the new things that are available to you as a touring artist. So you can check that out. But overall, man, I'm not exactly impressed with this, okay? In Focus by Spotify. Please step your game up, man. If it's really about music education, give me something that I can really grasp my teeth into, man. Don't just give me a bunch of nice graphics and, you know, podcasts that I can check out. And then when I go to the podcast, it's only 8 minutes long or something like that. You know what I mean? But, you know, I think I'm probably going to be a Spotify dissenter for the rest of my life, man, just because they don't pay enough. Their CEO says a lot of sideways comments about the music industry and the comparison between how they pay podcasts and artists. I know there's a bit of nuance that goes into that, but there's no way to justify giving, you know, all these different podcasters these multi-million-dollar deals, and then songwriters are having to lobby and go to Congress and all of these different places just to get fair wages for their contributions to making some of the most popular music in the world. And even if it's not the most popular music in the world, we all should be compensated fairly just based on having some type of audience that's tuned in. So that's pretty much my assessment of this whole In Focus by Spotify. I'm not impressed. It's cool. It's a very beautiful site, a lot of nice graphics, but when it comes down to the substance that you can actually get from it, there's not much to be seen. All right. Now, let me know what y'all think of this down below in the comments. Make sure that you share this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And if you've just been watching stuff and it's been coming up in your feed, but you never subscribed, make sure you just go ahead and hit that button, and make sure you hit the notification bell to get all the notifications too. All right. Much love and respect. I'll catch y'all on the next video. Peace.